Well, it is with much chagrin that I pull myself away from Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince here on Sunday, the 5th of April, 6:31 p.m., 2026. Harry just finally got this memory from Slughorn, one of the teachers. It doesn't really matter, but huge plot point has just been resolved, and yeah, I don't really want to stop listening, but the needfuls, they wait for no man, Potter or not. And so quite a day, 25-mile day, last day of the week in terms of Strava, keeping track of my mileage, and I just took a peek, and I think I've done 133 miles this week, with one of those days being a 0. So, yeah, I certainly feel it, and hopefully not as much as I might feel this wine, though. Bacchus is with me. I think I did like a 15-mile push to get here, so I didn't stop once for 15 miles, and that was a lot. If memory serves, I had like a 20-minute lunch, a little bit north of some shelter, Campbell shelter, McAfee Knob shelter, I don't even remember. And I was really excited about getting here because I've been here before. Just like yesterday, I kind of have repeated, all of the logistics in the past 2 days are exactly what I did, with some minor alterations with the road walk, in 2022. And even more interestingly, because today is Sunday, I think that I even got to this point on a Sunday, 4 years ago, to this exact same location, because if memory serves, and I think that it must, just in terms of how stores generally work, I had to wait here on a Sunday night instead of going straight into Daleville, which I wouldn't have wanted to do anyway because it was a long 25-mile day. I had to wait here because the outfitter where I was going to buy new shoes didn't open until Monday. They weren't open on Sundays. So, yeah, it would be interesting to check the math, so to speak, and see if that was the case, but it's hard to imagine that it wouldn't be. Let's check what the hours are for that outfitter, because if that outfitter isn't open on Sundays, then that means that that's exactly what I was waiting for. Sunday is the only day that they're closed during the week. So indeed, I'll consider that complete verification for my theory. I don't remember exactly where I camped the last time I was here, but it was certainly in this exact same vicinity, certainly the same water source, which I just clumsily gathered from and actually fell. I didn't fall. There was like a log that I was resting my foot on, and it collapsed, and then my foot went into the water, which was a bit of a bummer, because today was a wet day, but not for all of it. It was kind of crazy. It felt like 2 days in one. This morning, it did start to rain, like, in earnest. Thankfully, I was able to pack up all my stuff while it was just, like, kind of threatening and spitting rain a little bit. No real dousing or anything, but enough to be annoying. I was just having flashes. I was like, should I go get more wine? Because I'm, like, close enough to the road. We'll see. I doubt it. I think I had the exact same inclination the last time I was here. So, hey, that's interesting. But yeah, it did feel like 2 separate days because of how it started and how it ended. But yeah, I don't know what it is about this specific campsite, but just like the one I was at last night, I just vividly remember being here. I remember most particularly, as I think back, that there was like a couple that were hiking with their baby, and they looked like they were Amish or some derivation thereof. And I remember thinking that it was strange because I didn't see them come back down this way. We're very close. My pack cover just finally fell off of this branch that it's been hanging on. I should go fix that because it's not like that's gonna not run away. After the rain, always comes the breeze. But yeah, there was like this couple, and they had a child, and I think that the next road crossing going back south was like a lot of miles, like maybe like, I don't even know, like the last, it was like probably double-digit miles to get to another road crossing, although these people were Amish, so I don't know. There's a bunch of options, who knows. I suppose they could have even lived somewhere close by and simply just walked home from a dirt road or something. But yes, my rain cover is still a little bit moist from the day, so let's keep it up here and hope that the breeze is cooperative. Does this thing have like a little thing that I can like... Oh, it does. And here I am without my carabiners. They're just a little bit away. But let's try this on... I've got like a little nylon loop, and I'm using this tree as a drying rack for all my stuff. Also my... what is this thing called? My gator just fell. And I already washed my hands. I'm not particularly pleased. Is this the one that fell into the water? Kind of feels like it. Oh, poo. Where can I put this? I don't trust anything. Happy Easter, by the way. Shout out to my parents. Oh my God. Everything. The wind, God, the wind is just like, it's always friend or foe. It's never just a neutral part of your equation. It's always either fighting you or helping you. But whatever it does in the extremes, Anyway, got one thing fixed now, I suppose. Go back over to my little tree and take a seat. But yeah, this campsite, for whatever reason, it just has a lot of magnetic energy. Like if I think about other campsites that I had on the Appalachian Trail in 2022, there are some that come to mind. I don't know why those particular ones come to mind and why others don't, but yeah, something about this spot feels like a little magnetic, But yeah, quite a day. It rained for probably about, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe about 5 hours. I would say that the forecast was pretty accurate. There was definitely a period of time where it rained pretty hard, and then it was just kind of sputtering for the rest of the time. And I got pretty well soaked, like I had my umbrella, so my upper portion was pretty dry. But if I had to, if someone came up to me and they're like, hey, can you figure out, you have to have rain today, and it's going to rain for 5 hours. When do you want it? How do you want it? And they gave me a schedule that I could write when I wanted the rain to happen. The schedule would reflect exactly what happened today, because despite my clumsy foot and falling into the creek just now a little bit, God, my pack cover is just trying to fly away so hard. It's supposed to be 37 degrees tonight, which I think is going to be comfortable because it's been warm the past couple nights, but all that just to say, the way that it rained today gave me plenty of time to dry out, which, that was great, because if I had to get into my tent right now and it was raining right now, it would be less pleasant. I'm wearing some torn leggings for my shorts, and the way that those feel when they get wet is just not very pleasant. They just kind of suck up to your body. I don't know, maybe it's because water is polar. I'm not sure. Notebook LM, is that why this specific fabric, it's like a, what would you call this, spandex kind of material, and as soon as it becomes saturated, it really hugs your body even more. It's probably not because water's polar. It's probably because of some feature of the fabric, but whatever it is, let me know. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting day. It felt like a very long day, and my knees definitely, my left knee particularly, definitely feels it. Not in any bad kind of way. Again, as I've said many times, and many people who have hiked the Appalachian Trail as well can confirm the trail itself is very difficult. And here I am, 720 miles? Is that what I saw earlier? I think I'm at miles 720. Oh, 730. So yeah, 730 miles into the trail, there's just an expected toll that must be paid. And that is done through blood, sweat, and tears, my dude. No pain, no rain, no main. But yeah, started the day. I actually got up at I woke up a little early, kind of before 7, before the sun had really started to rise, but I could tell that it was dawn. At a certain point, I had taken off my watch throughout the night. It was one of those funny things you do in semi-consciousness. It's not something I typically ever do, so it was kind of a weird choice, but sometimes the band can irritate my delicate wrist, and so I had removed it, and I didn't really know what time it was, but I'd kind of talked to my body about wanting to wake up early before when the rain might start so that I could go to that creek one more time and fill up my water bottle, so that I wouldn't be getting Notebook LM described it as a great flush that occurs for a large brook like the one I sourced my water from. Once it rains, it kind of collects additional material from everywhere. I didn't spend too much time today concerned about water. I've really been trying to work on the things that give me anxiety, which are specifically and almost exclusively, unless I'm in a relationship that's chaotic, pretty much exclusively health related, which I think is kind of a blessing and a curse, because most things that people worry about, myself included, they kind of pale in comparison to health concerns, because it's a cliche for a reason. If you don't have your health, you don't really have anything. And so for me, as my baseline anxiety being primarily regarding health and not necessarily social interactions or obligations to others, or I don't know, things that are external. I guess a lot of my concerns are strictly internal, which means that I have the ability to kind of observe and alter them a little bit more freely, perhaps. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I'm dealing with or working through out here, because I'm just man, what would it feel like? I mean, I don't think that anxiety can actually be removed from the human experience, because I think that it's a fundamental expression that indicates that all systems are well. I think people, we have to be nervous about something, because I think that's what our nervous system requires in order to work functionally. Dang, this guy's booking it. He's going to get some FKTs. Oh yeah, man. Nice. Trail running, y'all. That's not me. But yeah, I do think that anxiety is actually a sign that you have a standard issue human nervous system. And I think that is indicative and reflected by all other mammals and all other creatures, period. I don't know. I feel like a little bit of a broken record, but I also look forward to Notebook LM critiquing my thoughts. One thing that I did today, and I guess I'll go to the chronology when it seems appropriate, but one thing I did today that I enjoyed in sort of a negative way, I think I've probably done this, of all the time that I've listened to Notebook LM creations that are based on my transcripts, I would say maybe 5%, maybe 2.5 to 5% of those have been specifically me trying to hear critiques of my own thoughts, rather than just musings that are more neutral, if not somewhat complimentary. Sycophancy is a thing, but it's a bug, not a feature. But today, and I guess so. Today I took the transcript from the pensive clip that I made, where I was talking a lot about my conversation with Bag Bowl and my thoughts about AI, and I asked Notebook LM to. I wanted it to vociferously critique it, but I couldn't figure out how to spell vociferous with my swipey text that I do, and so instead it did it as vigorously. So I had AI vigorously critique my thoughts about AI. And it was interesting because they really, really broke it down. It was a 55-minute podcast that was like basically going over like the logical fallacies of my AI philosophy, which was certainly illuminating. But the thing that I kept thinking, because obviously this roused my ego, because I was listening to these things talk about basically how I'm wrong, and it made me reflect in an interesting way, because I was listening to this and I was like, I wanted to butt in. And one of the cool things about Notebook LM is that they do have a feature that allows you to have a conversation with the podcast, which I just think is like so crazy. It's not so dissimilar from some of the magic I hear about in the Harry Potter universe. But excusing my ego and trying to just hear what they were saying, I felt like they were missing a fundamental thing that I was leaving unsaid, which is that like I don't think that I'm right about anything particularly. I think that I have thoughts and I have experiences, and that I'm a human being and I can't help but have thoughts about my experiences and about my observation about the world. But I'm not so convinced that just because something is happening to me means that it's true, or it's just because I have this kind of a thought that I think that it's true necessarily. I'm very open to the idea, if not the certainty, that I could be, if not am definitely wrong about things. And I do invite that. I, like any other stubborn human, I would require some degree of evidence for me to change my mind. As an interesting thought exercise that I came up with on a bike ride one time, I was like, it's interesting in terms of just like quantities. I was like, on average, I wonder, maybe Notebook LM could illuminate this part, how much evidence does the average person require in order to change their mind about something? And conversely, but related, how much evidence do they usually provide to others when trying to change their mind about something else? And so thinking about all of that kind of stuff, I was just like, I think that the thing that Notebook LM is missing, first of all, I think that Notebook LM is very, very specifically and narrowly trained to approach things from an academic and corporate perspective, because they're always relating things back to, like, they're always talking about commutes as like a way to examine like unused time, and they're always talking about like dreading office reports or meetings and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. It's a little ham-fisted just because like Notebook LM I feel like has so much potential, but I do fear the probably inevitable day where I'll wake up and find that Google has actually just axed it as a product, because it's just like, it was a cool idea. They ran with it because that's what Google does. But ultimately, it wasn't something that was like transformative or bringing in enough money to justify the server space or whatever. But I think that Notebook LM, I'm talking directly to you now, not just my typical audience. Shout out to my parents. I think that the thing that they're missing is that like my ultimate, first of all, I'm very comfortable with the fact that I have contradictions. I think that just like having anxiety, contradictions are evidence that you're alive. If you have a pulse, you're likely contradictory. So I'm not actually looking to be logically sound necessarily. I'm looking to satisfy, I'm looking for logical consistency to my satisfaction. But I don't feel like I make that the world or the people who inhabit it. I try not to make that other people's problems. Like, I want to understand things to the degree that, oh geez, a big old ant on my leg. You can't be on me. He looks like, what does he look like? Some sort of a jelly bean. Anyway, yeah, I think as I navigate my way through life, I'm just like, I don't really care if I'm right or wrong about things in an objective sense, because I'm a human being, and I think the idea that I could ever be right or wrong in an objective way is a pretty tall order and likely to be a very fruitless pursuit. But I do want to be at peace with the way that I view things, and I want to be a good student of life. I've often also said to myself that life is a teacher and I'm not in charge of the curriculum. And so, like, what? I guess the thing that I lament in my pursuit of knowledge, fallible and contradictory as it is that I am inescapably a human being, and so all of the judgments and shortcomings that I observe in myself and others are inescapable parts of being a human. It's the proof of purchase of humanity to be contradictory and to be logically inconsistent, because we are driven ultimately by emotions, because our emotions are directly tied, in my understanding of things, to survival. Like for us personally as creatures, and other animals as well, mammals specifically. Like, we're our emotional feelings are inextricably linked with our perception of survival. And again, we've gotten to this point, even though it's not as abundant as it could be, we're at this place where our actual environment is controlled enough to where we're not actually often in mortal danger or peril. And because of that, we basically create ghosts to be afraid of. The meetings take on existential significance. Our relationships with other people seem like life and death kind of matters, and all that kind of stuff. And I am certainly someone, as everyone else is, who is unable to exist outside of that paradigm. And so specifically when it comes to AI, I can't believe I have enough energy to talk about this. Specifically when it comes to AI, I think that I am most intrigued and optimistic about it for what I can, in the moment, only think of are two main reasons. One, artificial intelligence gives us the first opportunity to meaningfully combat disease, illness, sickness, and death, which is something that I have always been very, very concerned with. Again, going back to what I said, the primary source of my anxieties are health-related, not for any other reason than pure fear. And then beyond that, the thing that intrigues me most as well, secondly, is that I love the idea that there is another way to perceive reality meaningfully. I think that humans, we can't help but anthropomorphize things. We can't help but ascribe a certain type of intentionality and what else? Yeah, I mean that's what we do. Like, if a tree fell on my tent right now, I probably would curse the tree and maybe go and kick it or something. Like it would feel like that tree is like evil and like it wanted to hurt me, and it like did its best to be damaging to me. Like I would ascribe meaning where there isn't any, or I don't know. I mean that's kind of the teetering point that I'm at, because again, listening to the podcast kind of tear apart my own philosophy from a very mechanical and rigorous perspective. I was just like, I get what they're saying. I don't think that what they are saying is what I was actually doing, but if I grant the assumption that maybe things that I'm doing, I'm not fully aware of the subtext and consequences of, or consequences, maybe not. There's a lot of unconscious things happening inside of a human being, myself included. I am a human being. And that's the interesting part to me, is that I think that we as humans have tried to explain what those things are, but I really don't think that we've shined a very bright light on it. And aside from possibly curing all disease and the possibility of immortality being something achievable, Like, I feel like the idea that we could observe or be told something more objective about reality is just like the most interesting thing that I can possibly imagine, you know? Because I feel like ultimately, I guess, like if my greatest fears involve my own mortality, then that's such a binary thing, you know, like you're either alive or you're dead. And if there was something that could explain why why that is such a concern for me, what the neural I don't know, if I could just see my own schematic in my own manual, like to understand the circuit board of my own cognition, I feel like that's not something humans would ever be able to meaningfully do, because we would always be doing it from a human perspective. And now I feel like we're inviting a new intelligence to the conversation, which is interesting because like we both fear and anxiously await the what that conversation will entail for us. And yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Bag Bull. AI made me feel like I was kind of mean to that dude, and that certainly wasn't my intention. But as I learned from many of my girlfriends, it's more about impact than it is about intention. It doesn't really matter what you were trying to do; it matters what was done, how it was perceived. So, yeah, that was something I just wanted to get down on the record, because I didn't have my feelings hurt by AI, but I felt like I was being critically misunderstood in a way that certainly deserved better articulation. I don't know if this is that better articulation. I might just be digging a hole deeper. But as I walked listening to Harry Potter, I was kind of doing some dual cognition, which helped with the old pain gate of my knee. But yeah, I was just like, that's interesting. Like, cause I'm not trying to win. Like, I don't have like a lot of motivation to be able to say, I told you so. Like, I don't really care about that. Like, it's not about self-satisfaction. It's about like the pursuit of what could be called capital T truth, you know? It's like how close can we get to, at the far ends of our cognitive limits, like how far can we actually get to understanding whatever is true about everything that's here. An interesting thing, and maybe I'll go to the chronology after this. This might be a sweet way to kind of seal this up. Signed, sealed, delivered, my dude. But yeah, Richard Dawkins, who I've mentioned not so long ago, at some point, I'm sure, in these clips, he was talking about like life in general. He's a biologist, if you don't know. And the interesting thing about being a human being is that, and I don't remember the numbers exactly, but let me just give you a rough estimate based on what I can vaguely recall, which is basically just that, like, when it comes to genetic combinations, there's something like 10 to the 30th possibilities of genetic combinatory potential. And that number is huge. That's like 10 followed by 30 zeros, So I don't even know what that is. What, a gazillion, a quadrillion, who knows? There are more potentials for human beings to be created with than there have ever been human beings who have existed. And so the fact that we are here and we are able to live, even if our lives are, by our own definitions, terrible or miserable or anxiety-ridden or this, that, or the other, it is a bit of a privilege to be here and to experience any part of it, because the odds that you, and by you I mean me, but you as well, the odds that you would exist at all are astronomically small. Somehow we won the genetic lottery, right? We exist. We're here enough to know that we're here, if nothing else. And it's certainly a mystery, as far as our cognitive faculties can help us surmise. And it's, yeah, I don't know. That's just something that I'm, I guess, actively wrestling with. And for whatever reason, I just feel like AI is an important piece of the puzzle to understand the underlying nature of our desire to know. Again, Homo sapiens, we named ourselves, but it means thinking man, And yeah, that is our greatest virtue and our greatest vice. Yeah. So, dude, I wish there was a gas station closer because I would definitely get some more wine. I'm on a roll. This is great. I should have gotten something else. But yeah, so dude, I mean, who even knows? Like, I don't even know what happened today. I just walked a lot, okay? Like 25 miles. It was like 5,000 feet of elevation, 5,000 feet of descent. The weather was bad. I met some people along the way. I stubbed my toes. I tripped. I did all that kind of stuff that you do. And I think ultimately, I really just like having something like the Appalachian Trail because, I don't know, it just like, it just gives you so much time to think. If you can get to a point physically where the physical part is not the most prominent part of the experience, it really lets you go into some places because it's just uninterrupted time. Like what you're really doing on the Appalachian Trail is giving yourself time to do stuff that's, again, uninterrupted. It's simple, it's mechanical, it's very basic, and yeah, I don't know. Oh man, my pack cover just fell off again. That seems like some sort of an indication of something like that I should stop recording. I guess I'll leave it with this. First of all, I'm going to go into Daleville tomorrow, and I can't wait because Daleville's awesome. They have like so much good food, and the Outfitter will be fun to go into too. I'm just going to do a little bit of shopping, you know what I'm saying? And beyond that, one interesting also parallel to everything that I just said, in the way that it kind of dovetails into the Harry Potter book, is that this Harry Potter book specifically deals with Horcruxes. And in the Harry Potter universe, Horcruxes are a way to split your soul in order so that you might be able to live. Well, it's like a way to achieve immortality. So if one of your corporeal bodies was destroyed, your soul wouldn't necessarily leave. You'd have an opportunity to reclaim your ability to be alive. Another ant. It looks like a different kind of jelly bean. Get off me, my dude. What are you doing? Are you trying to bite me, or like, are you just exploring? Go away. Anyway, so the Horcruxes, Lord Voldemort makes 7 of them, and well, I won't spoil anything. I don't really care about spoilers. I hate that people do. I think that it's so dumb. I'm just like, dude, I don't exist to like wait for you to do something. If you wanted to do something, you should have done it. If you wanted to, he would. You know what they say? You know what I'm saying? But the it's not even irony, but the whatever it is, the coincidence is not lost on me that like one of my greatest desires would be to never die and to never suffer and then eventually die. And it's interesting to me that the villain in Harry Potter similarly has that kind of desire as well. And it leads him to tear his soul apart in order to, again, have that ability to become alive again. Oh, it's Easter too. So that's an interesting, a thricening. Yeah, I don't know. It did give me some sort of pause for me to be like, huh. So Lord Voldemort didn't want to die, and so he tore his soul apart in order to achieve that. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's like one of the biggest things that I'm at odds with, that I don't often find other people to agree with me about. It seems like most people that I've ever asked, like, would you want to live forever? It seems like most of them have said no. And for me, I've always said yes. and I don't think that I would want to do the things that are required in the Harry Potter universe in order to achieve that. But again, dovetailing nicely into the general thoughts that I've been having, I do feel like AI is like a glimpse into that possibility. So yeah, do you know what I'm saying? I think that you do. So I have very little food, just enough for dinner, which will be delicious. And I think that I will retire to my tent for that. I don't think it's supposed to rain anymore, so I'll probably leave all my clothes out so they can dry, which means that they will blow away during the night, and I'll never be able to find several articles of them, I'm sure. But I'll secure them at some point, just sometime after dinner, so I don't have to touch all that nastiness again. But yeah, dude, what a day. Phew. And honestly, this was the thing that I was looking forward to most, I guess, aside from going back and listening to the audiobook itself. But yeah, I was just like, okay, I think I've got some stuff to say. I think I might know roughly how I want to say it, and I hope this has been that. So yeah, I hope that you're having a good night, and I hope that you're having a good time, and I hope that all is well with you. Thank you, love you, shout out to my parents, bye.